Hi, I'm Bonnie Barker with BonnieBayCrochet.com, and we're about to begin the Chevrons and Diamonds Throw. Okay, before you begin, we need to gather your materials. Make sure you have 8 scans of the Red Heart Super Saver or whatever you're going to be using for the throw, and you're going to need a size I crochet hook or whatever you need for the gauge. And concerning the pattern, I know many of you don't read patterns. This is a really good project to begin on for a couple of reasons. It's actually a very different kind of a pattern in that it can be very visual, and we're going to be learning how to read a crochet chart together. It's very, very, very important that you print this out, even if you don't normally read crochet patterns, and I'll show you why. In this pattern are 2 charts that really sum up most of what we're going to be doing with this project. Here's one. And here's the other, like this. And we're going to be learning how to read these together. Okay, now you're not going to be able to read it if you don't have one. And so it's really, really important. Now in the actual pattern itself, these diagrams are very small and hard to read. Let me show you. This is what they actually look like in the pattern. Okay, so if you have 50-plus-year-old eyes like I do, you may want to make this larger. One of the best ways to do that is you can go online before you download this or after you've downloaded it and go ahead and take a screenshot of these individually, and then you should be able to put that into a word processing program on your computer and then print so that you can get the larger versions like this. This will help a lot, and this is what I'm going to be working from as we get up close and personal in the recording softbox right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our stuff together and let's go take a look. Okay, once you've printed out your pattern, I'm going to recommend that you read through the entire pattern at least one time before going any further. This way, what I say might be a little clearer. I think once we get started, you'll find that it's not hard at all, but getting started can be a little bit challenging. Okay, let's look at the pattern itself. Look at the photograph that's provided by Red Heart Yarns. This is the A section with the chevrons. The diamond section is the B section. So you have A, B, and then A. Okay, so we have chevrons, diamonds, chevrons in the pattern. I'm going to answer a question up front. Many people contact me and say, okay, I like this throw or I like that throw. Would you please tell me what I need to do to make it a different dimensions? I get that a lot, and I try to answer as best I can by sometimes giving the multiple, but really beyond that, you're talking about a complete redesign, which honestly, as much as I love you all, I don't have time to answer all those questions in detail because it takes me many hours to crunch some of the numbers. So, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you up front, you can make this any size you want, and this is how. The directions listed here will show you directions for chevron pattern A, and then directions for diamond pattern B, if you like to read directions, and I'm going to be following this as well. Now, if you're more of a visual person and you like charts, there are 2 charts, like I mentioned earlier, that you do a screenshot of and enlarge them. Or if you just take these, to a print store or to a Staples or place like that, and you can enlarge this simply by making another copy of it and just enlarging it as much as you can. Okay, now what you can do if you want to design a different size, you can just add the instructions for each of the sections. In other words, if you don't want it 5 sections, 3 chevrons and 2 diamonds wide, if you want to make it wider, you can easily add another diamond and a chevron to the side and then work the pattern as long as you would like it to be worked, because you're just repeating things again and again. Of course, if you choose to do that, make sure you buy enough yarn in the same dye lot in order to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to work it the size that is provided here in the instructions, which is approximately 50 inches by 60 inches. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started into the throw. Now let's look at the pattern again. Here you have instructions for A, for B section, and the throw doesn't start till right down here. And there's just a very small amount of instructions, as you see, and the reason is that you have to go back to these other instructions repeatedly. Okay, so let's go ahead, and the throw instructions say to chain 139. So let's get our hooks and yarn and start that. So I'm using a size I or 9, which is 5.50 millimeter crochet hook, and I'm going to go ahead and start the foundation chain of 139. I start with my slip knot, give it a tug, make sure you leave a generous amount here at the end so that it's easy to hide once we're finished. Okay, let's chain 139. I'm going to go ahead and chain this together, and then I'll get back to you. One more thing I should mention now that you're working on that foundation chain is that if you want to add, for every additional chevron section you want to add to the existing design, you're going to need to add 22 stitches, and for each additional diamond pattern that you want to add, you're going to need to add 35 stitches. This is adding them to the original chain 139. Okay, so a little bit of math involved there. So if you're going to be making yours bigger, make sure you add those stitches right now. You don't need to add any turning chains to that, since the one turning chain that we're going to use is already included in this 139 count. For row 1 of this throw, we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook and in each chain all the way across. So go ahead and do that. I am doing my usual, working in one of the V's of the chain. Okay, now if some of you prefer to work in the back bump, feel free to do that. I'm doing it this way because in the end, I think I'm going to actually add my own unique trim to this afghan that is not included in this pattern. So I want to be able to work through this foundation easily. So this is one reason why I do it this way. So go ahead and work one single crochet in each chain. That should give you 138 single crochets at the end of the row. Okay, now as we get to row 2, I'm going to show you 2 ways to read along with me. Okay, so let's read this together. Row 2, chain 1, we're going to obviously turn, or we turned at the end of the last row. We're going to single crochet in the first single crochet, work chevron pattern A, row 2, across next 22 stitches. And then in parentheses, the parentheses, there's one here, or the brackets rather, here and here, indicates that this is going to be repeated. And then this number here, this letter, these words, twice tell us how many times. Sometimes there's a number there depending on whatever pattern you're using. So just to review again, okay, we're going to single crochet the first single crochet. We're going to work chevron row 2 across the next 22 stitches. Then inside the brackets, we're going to work the diamond pattern B, row 2, across the next 35 stitches. And then we're going to go work our pattern A again, which is a chevron. And then it's inside the bracket, so we're going to go back and repeat that again. Then we're going to repeat the B pattern, and then we're going to end with the A pattern. The last thing we're going to do in this row is put a single crochet in the last stitch, and then we're going to turn. That sounds complicated. It's really not. Just remember A, B, and then A. And what you can do from this point is go read the instructions as to what you need to do. For chevron pattern A, which is 22 stitches, you just single crochet in the next 22 stitches. Okay, for rows 2 in the diamond pattern, we go single crochet in the next stitch and then a treble in the next single crochet. We do that 5 times, and I'm not going to read the rest of it because you're not going to remember it, and I'll do that with you. Okay, let me show you another way. If all this verbiage is confusing to you, this is what we can do. Okay, so let me get something else to point here. So this is row 1. We've already done row 1. If you want, or we're not actually going to use that, we can just check it off. Okay, just put a little check there. Or if you like using highlighters, you can do that. But actually, you want to do something where well, we're going to be repeating this, so we want to be careful what we do. Okay, so for row 2, as I said, chevron pattern for 22 stitches, which is single crochet. In this diagram, the X's means single crochet. The O's, or little purple O here, is something else, is a front post, double crochet, and I'll show you what this means in a little bit. But let's look at row 2. Row 2, if you're just going to be visual on this, is just all X's all the way across for 22 stitches, so that's just going to be single crochet. So we'll do the A pattern, and then let's look at the B pattern. Okay, let's look at the key first. The X's are also single crochets. We get that. And the O's, the orange O's, reminds me of the Baltimore Orioles. That represents a treble crochet. So again, we've already done row 1 by doing that foundation row, and it's telling us to go to row 2. So when we do that, as we go across 35 stitches, it's going to be single crochet, treble, single, treble, single, treble, single, treble, single, treble, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 single crochets, a treble, 7 more single crochets, and then treble, single, treble, single, treble, single, treble, single, treble, single, and then we go back to A. Okay, and then we do the A pattern again, which is 22 single crochets, and then we go back to B, that row 2 again. Okay, hold it up a little better. And then we end the row by doing the 22 single crochets, or the X's all the way across. Okay, I just wanted to show you briefly that that's how I'm reading these charts. But that said, I'm going to still step you through each row, and I'm going to start that right now. So after I finish my 138 single crochets, this is row 1 of the entire pattern, I'm going to chain 1, turn, and for the first part, we're going to always single crochet in the first stitch and single crochet in the last stitch. That's not a part of these charts that I've been talking about, so we'll go ahead and do that. And for the chevron pattern, for row number 2 of the chevron pattern A, single crochet in the next 22 stitches. So we're going to count these carefully. 1, 2, 3, 4. After working those 22 single crochet, this is in addition to the first single crochet. Now we're going to work pattern B. And pattern B, we're going to single crochet, and then we're going to treble crochet. Oops, let's try that again, because I was doing a double. Treble crochet, you wrap the hook twice, and do it like that, and then single crochet, and then do a treble. I'll do it a little bit slowly. I was getting carried away there with my speed. Okay, and then single crochet. We're going to do this, the single crochet, treble crochet, we're going to do this 5 times. For a treble, we wrap twice, insert our hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, and this is the 4th. Let's try that with a treble. Wrap it 2 times. And let's go ahead and verify that we've done this 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And notice how it's kind of popping on the opposite side. Okay, see how it's kind of protruding there? So I've repeated the single crochet and the treble crochet 5 times. After that, we're going to single crochet in the next 7 single crochet. So just do 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then after that 7th, we're going to treble crochet in the next single crochet. Okay, and then it says to single crochet in the next 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, after we do that, we're going to go back to treble crochet and single crochet. Make sure you wrap it twice. I'm about to wrap it only once there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and don't forget the single crochet. Let's verify that I did this correctly. Okay, 1, and single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I think I got that. And after we do that, it's time to go back to the chevron, which is 22 single crochets. So I'll go ahead and do that. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll finish counting and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I've just completed the second chevron section by doing the 22 single crochets. Now it's back to the diamond pattern. We're going to do a single crochet and a treble crochet. We're going to repeat that 5 times. So that's 1 repeat. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now I'm going to work 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'm going to work 1 treble crochet, which is the very bottom point of that diamond, and then 7 more single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to work treble crochet, single crochet 5 times. 1, 2, get some more yarn, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 5. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the next thing we're going to do is the last chevron. And let's hope we have the right number of stitches here. So I'm going to do 22. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so this now is number 21, 22. And we have 1 stitch left, and that's the last single crochet. We work a single crochet at the beginning and at the end of the row in addition to what you see on the chart. So let's go ahead. I'm going to chain 1 and turn to begin the 3rd row, but before I do, I want to show you what you should have. This is looking at the back side. You see how these treble crochets pop out? This would be the bottom of the diamond. So I think we are good to go. If ever you're in doubt, I would definitely encourage you to give a good visual check at the end of every row. It's a pretty easy, quick thing to do. So if it looks symmetrical and you see, these looking, looks pretty much correct, then we're good to go. So let's go ahead and start row 3. Okay, starting with the first, we're going to single crochet in the first stitch. Okay, now we are going to work the pattern A, which says to single crochet in the next stitch. Let's go ahead and do that. And then it has this SFPDC. Well, what in the world does that mean? That's actually called a spiked front post double crochet, or I would just really call it a double crochet. And what we're going to do, the reason it's a little different, is we're going to actually wrap this hook or the stitch around the stitch 2 rows below. So this would be 1, 2 rows below. So we're going to wrap the hook like we're going to do a double crochet, and we're going to do a front post right down here. So we're going to come down there and just complete our double crochet as we normally would. Okay, after we do that, we're going to single crochet in the next single crochet. Make sure you leave this stitch unworked, because you've kind of worked that stitch down below, because we don't want our stitch count to change. And we do a single crochet, and then we do another spiked front post double by going down, straight down. Instead of doing our stitch in this stitch, go right down below it, the one right below, and we'll do like that. Okay, so we're starting to make those kind of like ribbing lines. Okay, so after we do that, we're going to do that twice. We just did that twice. We're going to single crochet in the next 5 single crochets. Let's go ahead and do that. Remember, we're going to skip this one because this stitch replaces that one. So we're going to do the next one. We're going to single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and after we do that, we're going to do a spike front post double crochet 4 times. So instead of working in this stitch, go right down below and do this 5 times. I'm sorry, 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to refer back to the pattern and make sure I'm doing this right. This is actually the first time I've ever done this this throw. This is not one of my designs. It's one that Red Heart Yarns has graciously let me record for you. Okay, so we did this 4 times. Now we're going to single crochet in the next 5 single crochet. So let's make sure that we're skipping the back 4 single crochets here. That's behind the post stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. And single crochet in the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, after we do that, we're going to do another spiked front post double crochet and then a single crochet, and do that 2 times. So instead of this one, go down below and we skip this one so that we don't add any stitches, and then do that again. Instead of doing this one, put the front post spiked double crochet there, and make sure we don't use this stitch, and then 1 single crochet there. Okay, so now we go to the diamond pattern B. This is for row number 3, and it says to repeat row 1, which is single crochet in the next 35 stitches. So we just simply count 35 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to crochet across the next 35 stitches, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, after the 35 single crochets for pattern B, we'll go back to pattern A, and we're going to do what we did at the very beginning. We're going to single crochet and then work the front, the spiked front post. Remember, going two rows down, and then make sure that we don't stitch in this stitch or we'll have added stitches. Then we do that again, single crochet, and then the front post spike, and then after that we're going to do 5 single crochets. I know I'm repeating myself and saying make sure that you skip a stitch back here when you do these front post stitches, but if your stitch count does not come out at the end of this row, it's probably because you stitched in one of these stitches. And because of this, this pattern can be a little on the tricky side once before you establish what the pattern is looking like. So let's skip that one. And then we're actually not skipping a stitch, you hope you understand. It's just in lieu of the stitch here that's in the front. So we're going to do 5 single crochets. And then we're going to work 4 spiked front post double crochets. So let's do that. 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's make sure we skip 4 back here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to work 5 single crochets. Let me verify that pattern. Yes, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we do the spiked front post double and then a single crochet 2 times. So and then skip this stitch, single crochet, and then spiked, and then a single, skip this stitch, and then a single crochet. All right, so that brings us to section B again, which is the diamond. Okay, and which is to repeat row 1, which is single crochet in the next 35 stitches. So that's a lot easier. So let's go ahead and single crochet in the next 35 stitches. I'll do that and get right back to you. After doing the 35 stitches for the B section, that brings us to section A, or the chevron again, and we're just going to single crochet in the next stitch. I'm going to do a spiked front post double crochet in the next, and we're going to do that 2 times. Make sure you don't stitch behind that front post double crochet. Okay, so we did that 2 times, and then after we do that, we're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches. Make sure you don't use that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to do 4 spiked front post double crochets. Okay, and let's make sure we skip 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches back here, and then the next we're going to do 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and after we do that, I'm looking back and forth at the pattern to make sure I get this correct for you. Then we do the spiked front post double crochet and single crochet in the next. And do that 2 times, spiked front post double crochet and then a single crochet, and hallelujah, it turns out correct. We do a single crochet in that last stitch, and I have just the right number, which is always a positive thing when you're doing crochet projects for the first time. Okay, now we're ready to do row 4, but before I do that, I wanted to show you what we've just done. Okay, so let's look at this. And I'm going to actually use this to show you what we've just done. Okay, so we've just completed row 3. And I'm just trying to show you this so you can see the very bottom, the bottom rung. This is what we just did. Remember, the O's are the spiked front post double crochets. Okay, and then we did row 3 of the B section. I'll get that lined up. As you can see, that is just all single crochets across. Now I want you to notice something. every other row, or every time you have an odd row with the diamond, that's what the treble crochets, every other row is going to be all single crochets. So this pattern is really not as complicated as it looks, but you do have to pay attention. You do have to look at this chart. So let's go ahead and do the next row just by reading the chart, okay? Rather than reading the written verbiage. Okay, so let's look at row 4. Okay, so you have all single crochets across for row 4. Now remember, there are 22 stitches in this. There are 35 stitches in the diamond pattern as you go across. So we're going to start this pattern. We're going to do 22 single crochets, and I will do the first single crochet and then 22. We'll do that together. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn and do the first stitch of the row. And since we're doing section A, we're going to go ahead and do 22 single crochets. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll get back to you. Just after I completed 9 single crochets, I decided I'm going to show you a little bit more as I go across, because some of you may be confused, wondering if do you crochet here or do you crochet in the back? And the answer is you're going to crochet on the back section right here. Okay, so don't crochet the stitches that we skipped back behind the front post stitches, but go ahead and crochet over those front post stitches. Okay, so this is going to look like that from the back. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish my 22 stitches. Let's go ahead and take a look at row 4, what we're going to do as we go across. Okay, we're going to, and it really doesn't matter what directions you come from on this because it is symmetrical. So we're going to do, actually we're going to come from this side. We're going to do a treble, treble, single, treble, single, treble, single, treble, single, treble. Okay, so they're going to do the treble and then the single 5 times. Then they're going to crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 single crochet, and then notice that where this comes, this is the one we've already done, and we've done this row. So when you get to this section, you're going to do a treble, single, a treble, and you want to make sure that it's on either side of this treble here so that we're forming the correct pattern. 7 more single crochets, and then treble, single, treble, single. Okay, do this. If you start with this X here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, treble, single, on and on, just like the pattern is. Let's go ahead and do that, but I just wanted to show you where I'm getting this information from, okay, so that you have no trouble reading it. Okay, just got to find my hook. Okay, so I'm going to read that pattern again. So number 4, we're going to do the treble and then a single. Now as I do that single, I notice that the single kind of comes just above the treble crochet, and that's a good thing because that's the way it's supposed to be. Except, you know what? I did a double crochet. Let's go ahead and try that again. That's why it wasn't popping. Okay, treble. I'm going to repeat this 5 times. Okay, and let's put another single there. So let's take a look and see what we've got here, see whether it's coming out the way we want it to. Okay, and let's look at what the pattern should be. I think that's the way it's supposed to be. So then we're going to do 7 single crochets. So I've already done 1. Let's move this out of your way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now this is where we do the treble, single, and then the treble. Let's take a look at the other side. I'm going to put another single crochet just for a second. And that's where it's supposed to be. See how it's the bottom of the diamond? And that is coming out just the way we want. So now we want 7 single crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get more yarn. 6 and 7. And I think this is the correct way. And now we're going to do a treble, single, treble, single. Do that 5 times. This is our third repeat. Four, 5. Okay, let's take a look, see if that's, yep, you can see how that's starting to come out. That's our diamond section. Okay, so the next thing we do is single crochet 22 stitches. 22 single crochets across the next stitches. So I'll go ahead and do those 22 stitches and show you the next section. Okay, after doing those 22 stitches for row 4 of the A section, now we go back to the B section, row 4, which is going to be a treble, and then a single. We'll do that 5 times. I'm going to count these. I love the way this makes those trebles just kind of pop like a little popcorn on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a single crochet. And then we're going to do, okay, but starting with this single crochet, 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you should have this. You should be able to feel that with your non-dominant hand as you go across there. So you do a treble, a single, and a treble, and then 7 more single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're ready to do the treble and then the single. Do that 5 times, 5 repeats of those 2. Treble crochet, single crochet, treble, single, treble crochet, single crochet. Let's see how many we got. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to do 1 more. And then a single crochet. Let's take a look and see what we've got. That looks about right. We're on to something here. So now we do 22 single crochets plus 1 at the very end, and make sure as you go across that you stay right up here and don't put any stitches here. So I'll go ahead and finish that out. Single crochet basically to the end. So this is what we should have at the end of the first 4 rows. You can see where the diamonds are beginning to form right there in the center. Okay, before we embark on row 5, let's just take a quick look at the diagram. We're going to have single crochet, then the front post, single crochet, front post, okay, then 4 single crochets, and then we're going to have 2 front posts, 2 single crochets, 2 front posts, and then the same going all the way across. Now, as we're doing this, what we're going to be looking for is we're going to have 2 stitches left here that are single crochet, so we should start forming this pattern. It's going to be easy to remember these because we're just going to post over the post stitches that are already there. So as we come down, we're going to work the front post. So I'll go ahead and show you. We're going to go ahead and start that. Okay, as we start row 5, I'm going to go ahead and read this one because it gets a little tricky with how you interlock some of these stitches. Okay, we're going to single crochet in the first stitch, and now we begin row number 5. Okay, we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to front post double crochet. Now instead of going here, we're actually going to work around this double crochet below. And now we're going to, remember, we're not going to do this stitch because we've just done the double crochet, and then single crochet, and then we're going to do that again. We're going to do a front post double, but we're going to work it around this post stitch down below. This helps to form those lines. Skip this stitch, and then after we do those, we are going to single crochet in the next 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, after we work those 4 single crochets, we're going to kind of jump over here. We're going to be working 2 front post double. The pattern says one's a split front post double and the other's a front post double. I don't understand why it's written that way, but this is what I'm doing. I'm just going to do these 2 front posts. We're going to skip these 2 stitches here, which are replaced by these 2 single crochets. Let me double check on that. Yes, single crochets in the next 2, and then we're going to do 2 more of the front post, but we're going to come down here and connect it with these double front post double crochets here. Okay, so it's starting to kind of split off a bit in that direction, and then we skip these 2 stitches back here, and then 4 single crochets. Okay, then after that we're going to do the front post, grabbing those stitches here, skip this one back here, single crochet, and then another front post where we're grabbing that front post 2 rows down, and after that we're going to single crochet. Let's see, I think that finishes, yeah, single crochet, then that finishes the A section. Now for the B section, I'm only going to work the A section and the B section, and then you can repeat these across so that this video doesn't get too tedious for you. So that is the A section, and for the B section, whenever you have these popcorny trebles showing, you're just going to single crochet across 35 stitches. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do those 35 stitches. Okay, so after finishing those 35 single crochets across the diamond section, which is the B section, we're going to do the A section again. I'm going to go ahead and repeat it because that was a little tricky. Single crochet in the first stitch, and then go ahead and we're going to front post double crochet, single crochet in the next stitch. Remember to skip a stitch in lieu of this front post, single crochet, and then a double crochet. And now we're going to skip this stitch. Now we're going to single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches, and then after we do that, we are going to, I'm sorry to be going so slow here, I'm just ever so careful. Now we're going to do front post, another front post. We're going to skip these 2. This is kind of pulling it towards, making that V, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets, and then 2 more front post double crochets, 1, 2, and then we're going to skip these 2, 1, 2, and then 4 more single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the front post, and then a single crochet, front post, and a single crochet. Okay, let's stop and take a look at that. Okay, that looks good. Now we do the 35 single crochets across the popcorn diamond section, and then we do what I just showed you with the single crochet. We have the front post, single, front post, 4 single crochets, and then 2 front post, 2 single crochets, 2 front post here, 4 single crochets, front post, single crochet, front post, single crochet, and a single crochet in the end. So hopefully you can work that all the way across, and whether you're using the diagram or using the written pattern. I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and then we'll do row 6. Okay, let us take a look at row 6 now. For row 6, for the A pattern, which is a chevron, we're just going to do X's all the way across, which is single crochet. So that's 22 single crochets. So let's go ahead and do that. So as I start the next row, don't forget we're going to do that first single crochet, and then we start our 22 single crochets. I'm going to go ahead and do these 22 single crochets, and then I'll get back with you. Now let's look at the B section and take a look at row 6. We're going to have, let me get my little pointer here for this. We're going to have single crochet, treble crochet. We're going to repeat that 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, this is different than what we've done before. And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 single crochets. And then we're going to do treble, single, treble, single, treble, and then 7 more single crochets, and then we're going to alternate a treble and then a single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, so let's go ahead and I will work that for you. Okay, so working that B section for row number 6, so it's a single crochet and a treble crochet, a single crochet, and a treble crochet. We're going to do that 4 sets, a single crochet and a treble crochet, single crochet, and then I'm going to count here. Let me show you. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of that. I'm going to go ahead and put a single crochet of the next little bit there. Let's just take a look and see, does that look like what we're shooting for? Let me double check my pattern. And yes, I noticed at first that it kind of goes in a little bit here, and I just wanted to make sure that that was correct, and that is correct for the pattern. So I think we're good to go for the next single crochet. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 single crochets, and then we're going to do a treble. I just forget to wrap that hook twice there. A treble, a single, a treble, a single, and then 1 more treble. And then we're going to do 7 single crochets again. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then after we do that, we're going to do the treble and then a single 4 times. Treble, single, that's 1. Treble, single, that's 2. Treble, single, that's 3. And treble and single, that's 4. Now that is the B section. Let's take a look from the other side, and shazam, it does look like we're forming the diamond correctly. So I'm going to just keep on going. Okay, so now we go for another repeat of the A section, which is going to be 22 single crochets straight across, and then we repeat the B section again, and then we repeat the A section. So instead of showing you all these stitches, because that's going to make this video series extremely tedious, I think I'm just going to repeat the A and then the B section for you, and then so you can repeat that alternately across the row. So go ahead and do the A section again, which is just 22 single crochets, and then the B section, which is just as I showed you here. After working that last A section, remember the last single crochet is, or the last stitch is a single crochet, which is not part of the chart. Remember, there's a first single crochet at the beginning and at the end before you begin the pattern. Okay, so this is what we should have at the end of row 6. It's starting to come along. All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look to begin row number 7. Okay, to begin row number 7, we're going to have a single crochet, a front post double crochet, single crochet, front post double, 3 singles, 2 front post. Now this should be starting to get kind of clearer, because when you hook into these front post stitches, you're just going to hook the front post stitches that are down below. Okay, so we have single crochets, 2 front post double, 4 single crochet, 2 front post double, 3 single crochets, front post, single crochet, front post, single crochet. Okay, so I also wanted to make mention of one thing here, that if you've never read these before, I'm going from right to left with each of these rows. Now that's because this entire pattern is symmetrical. Okay, the beginning and the end are all the same. Now if you ever work these problems or these designs when they're not symmetrical, you're going to have to be very careful to look for the notation on one side or the other that'll tell you to go towards the right or towards the left. Okay, just wanted to make mention of that. Not everything is symmetrical in the crochet universe, but anyway, let's go ahead and work this A pattern for row number 7. I'm going to go ahead and start with the chain 1, single crochet in that first stitch, and now to begin the pattern, okay, we're going to alternate a single crochet, a front post double. Make sure we skip that stitch back there. I know you're probably getting tired of me saying it, but it's just inevitable that, you know, I may even accidentally stitch that one, so I'm kind of talking to myself out loud. Okay, front post double, single crochet, skipping that next, the one behind that post stitch. Okay, now we're going to do 3 single crochets, or actually that was one of them. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to do 2 front post double. And you do have to kind of grab, you know, at an angle. The stitch that we're working is not directly below it. Skip 2 stitches. Now we're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to front post double, grabbing that stitch 2 rows down there. Skip the 2 on the back. Single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do front post double, single, front post double, and then a single crochet. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the B section. Okay, row 7 is easy for the B section. It's simply single crochet all the way across the row. That's what all those X's are. So that's 35 stitches. So let's go ahead and do the 35 stitches. Okay, so 35 single crochet. I'm going to do that all the way across these popcorn sections and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and count out 35 single crochets. Okay, now that I've done the 35 stitches across the B section, it's time to do the A section again. And so I've already done that for you. So all you need to do is, you know, back this up a little bit, and you can do the A section again, then the B section, then the A section, and then that single crochet at the very last stitch. So go ahead and complete this. This was the end. This was row 7. This is going to be the end of this particular video. So if you want to continue on with the reading of this chart for the next several rows after this, go ahead on to video number 2, and I'll see you in that one. God bless. Bye-bye.